There are two kinds of people in this world. The people who fail to do what they know they should, and those who keep doing things they know they shouldn't. Guess what? You're both. Hi, I'm your podcast host and life and business coach, Marcy Barker, aka your loving kick in the pants. In this podcast, I'll teach you the 6 steps of my accountability code framework that will enable you to wake up with clarity and show up with aligned action steps that make follow through easy and peaceful. When you're ready for more, head to marcybarker.com and we'll chat about your next goal. All right, let's dive in. Mic check. How is everybody today? I am really glad to talk to you today about reflection. Now, reflection is the first step of the accountability code. And last week I had a speaking engagement. I got to fly back home to Utah, compliments of the company that hired me. And that was a nice surprise for my bestie. And I got to meet up with a couple of my siblings here and there. And one of the funnest stories that I told was a story from my book called Doubt Yourself No More. And it's in the reflection chapter because I wanted to talk about how proper reflection will get you to act. And when you act, your reflection is updated and you have a bigger buy-in to what you want to do. Now, the company that hired me, they made some changes in their company and they thought it was a good idea to bring somebody in to talk about accountability because they wanted to just make sure that people were owning their work. They wanted to make sure that they weren't just micromanaging everybody or telling somebody what to do the whole time, but the message of accountability is one that will help people just take more ownership. And throughout my talk, I shared different stories from each step of the code and helped people see how they could start to develop a greater ability to be accountable by utilizing the steps of the accountability code. And this first story, Doubt Yourself No More, it's the story of where I tried out for cheerleading for a joke when I was in high school. And I played soccer with a few girls on the cheerleading team, and they were complaining about how hard practice was. And I was like, I don't really think you guys are athletes. I don't know what you're complaining about. And they said, you can't do what we can. And I said, pretty sure I can. And I started going to a tumbling gym because I was going to take this seriously. If I was going to try out, I wanted to make sure that I could actually do a few cheerleading moves. And once I started trying to tumble, I was like, okay, maybe this is not as easy as I thought it was. And my reflection turned into, first it was, I'm going to prove them wrong that I can do it. And then it turned into, actually, this is kind of more challenging than I thought it was. The keyword thought, because reflection is just thinking on your goals, your values, and your problems. It's not really taking action just yet. So I go to tryouts, and a friend was supposed to try out with me, and tryout day comes, and my friend is like, never mind, I'm not doing this. And I was like, oh, okay, I was not expecting that, but I put in a lot of time and effort into this, and I'm not a quitter, so I'm going to try out anyway. And we go into the gym, the side gym, and all of these girls are here with their moms, and their moms braiding their hair and putting glitter on them and all this, and I'm like, I am so out of my comfort zone. I don't even know what I'm doing here, and my family they can't even help me. Like, I don't even think they'd support me doing this, but here I am. So more girls were warming up their tumbling, and I decided I was going to go and try it because they went into the wrestling gym where the mats were, and I just thought maybe I can whip something out. We'll see. But when I went to a tumbling gym, I was only ever able to do somewhat of a back handspring on a trampoline, not a wrestling mat, and certainly not on the floor. So I went into the wrestling gym, and girls offered to spot me, and I just couldn't do it. I could not make myself throw my back handspring, and I just was like, I can't do this. I don't know. So my reflection went from, let me prove this wrong, because this is actually kind of difficult, to, oh my gosh, I freaking suck. And I still was like, I'm not going to quit. I can't just walk away now. And they called our tryout group, and the groups were put together in groups of 3, A, B, and C. And I got put into the same tryout group as the only boy who was trying out, and with a girl who was a couple years younger than me. Hey, my beautiful people. The message of waking up and showing up is yours for the taking. In fact, it's completely free. All you got to do is take this quick action. I've recorded my entire audiobook, and I'd love for you to consume it between episodes. Head to marcybarker.com to get instant access to the accountability code, Wake Up and Show Up. So I figured, okay, I think I have a leg up here with this group that I got put in, so let me do my best. And we did all of the different moves, do this, cheer, whatever, and the judges, they look at the boy and they say, okay, is there anything else you want to show us? And he said, yeah, I'm going to do 60 push-ups in 60 seconds. And sure enough, he did. He straight up did 60 push-ups in 60 seconds. And I was like, okay, I don't have the upper hand here anymore. I got to do something. So they asked me, girl B, do you have anything else you want to show the judges? And I was like, yes. And I went to the side of the gym and I straight up sprinted across the whole basketball court and I did a round off and a back handspring. And I was so surprised that I did it and I landed it and I was so happy about it. But the judges, they didn't even care. They didn't even give me a smile or anything. So they said, is there anything else you want to show us? And I was like, yes. And so I got down and I did the worm. I did the breakdance move, the worm. And that got some surprises, some claps and applause. And my reflection then went from, I'm going to try and prove them wrong, to actually, this is kind of hard, to I totally suck, to like, okay, this was fun. I enjoyed this and we'll see what happens. And that night, the cheerleaders came to my house, a couple of the seniors, and they said, you made the team. And I was totally thinking they played a joke on me. I did not believe them at all. But I learned from that lesson that reflection can start as one thing, but as soon as you start taking action on it, it's going to adapt and evolve and gives you way more confidence in what your goals are, and it gives you data on how to proceed. And I think that because I was so sure about not being a quitter, that definitely helped. But I was also grateful that I was willing to stick it out because I said I was going to do something. So I was committed to it. And that's what I want you to think about today as you listen to this podcast. Is reflection is thinking on your goals and your values and your problems. And what are you thinking about your goals that are just thoughts that you need to put actions to in order for them to develop and to take shape and for you to reach a goal that you had on your mind? Because I do continue to say I tried out for cheerleading for a joke and I made the team, and that is completely true. But if I never tried out for the team, I would have never really known if I could do it. And I wouldn't have known that I was able to adapt and prove myself. Reflection, again, is thinking on your goals, your values, and your problems. And when you are spending a lot of your mental energy in one place, it starts to make its way to the top, that it takes a lot of your thought process, and that is one of the first indicators that you need to take action on it. Because when you have buy-in on something and it won't bother you until you do something about it, your chances of following through are so high, it's not even funny. So I want you to think about what in your life is taking up a lot of your mental energy that needs to be addressed, and how can you start taking action so you allow your reflection to change and grow and adapt. I hope that as you strive to be more accountable, that you don't ignore your reflection, because everybody's going to have a different path. And when you take charge of what you want and what you're thinking about, that's the very best way that you can be more accountable today than you were yesterday. I hope if you don't have the audiobook yet, go and grab it. You guys can grab it for free. You can go to bossminded.com or marcybarker.com and get the free audiobook. And then if you're really ready to dive in and apply your own skills and your own thought process by using the accountability code, the workbook on Amazon is a perfect place for you to start. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week for another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants.
Thank you for listening, friends. If you got value out of this episode, I would love for you to drop a review or share this with a friend. Let's be real. Let's spread the word, because we all know someone who could use your loving kick in the pants.